Let's go to eat a damn snack.
You are now watching Mach Green Podcast. Give it up for Daniel Smith and Jaws.
Play the funeral music, JR, because that is where we are. Welcome to Mach Green, episode number 3. Our co-host is not here. It's the old school crew. It's Jets Guru. I still go by that name. Daniel Smith. It's JR here, and it's just, it never ends. And this is how we have to welcome in everyone today. Thank you, YouTube, for coming in and tuning in. We appreciate you. Thank you, Facebook, for tuning in. And thank you for the support on the Facebook page of all the articles that I've been writing. We're getting like 2,000 plus views per article. So it's been really awesome, the support that you guys have been showing. We just got to get those page views up by getting people to like and subscribe to the page. But we appreciate the support. I'm sitting here watching the Mets game. They're down. It's coming down to the wire. We got about, I think, 10 games left. Then they're up about a game and a half, and Padres are one of the teams that are chasing them, if I'm not mistaken, and they're just kind of jockeying back and forth for position, or they're in that third spot. The Reds are chasing them too. And it's interesting because, I've seen the Mets in the playoffs over the last couple of years, twice over the last 5 years at least. And, last year was really successful, overdid probably where they should be at. I would say that season was comparable to what the Jets did with Rex Ryan when they went to the AFC Championship game the first time, just a little bit unexpected. Like, we knew our team was going to be good, but we didn't know they were going to be that good. That would be kind of like the second year, and that was last year's team. The one that got booted out of the playoffs 2 years before that was more or less like the Rex Ryan first-year team. But, it was funny because I was sitting in the living room with my mom, and I was actually playing a game. We started talking about the Jets, and she goes, "They haven't won a game in 14 years?" And I said, "No, Ma." I said, "They've won a game." I said, "But they haven't been to the playoffs in that long." And it made me think about everything that was going on during those times. I was in my late 20s. I was married to someone completely different. I have a daughter that's in middle school that wasn't even born yet. I owned a home that I don't own anymore. I lived in Florida, moved to Staten Island, moved to a little bit past Syracuse, moved back to Florida, and the Jets still haven't made the playoffs in that time. I've gotten a bachelor's degree in that time. I've worked at 3 different schools, elementary, high school, and middle school. And all of this that I've done in my life, all this expansion and movement from one end of the United States up to the other and back down again, And the Jets are still the same old franchise. And it's just unbelievable that every single year we have to go through this as fans. And everyone, there's going to be some people that are going to jump on my posts and jump on this video, and they're going to say, "Oh, well, you're just crying all the time. You're just always upset with the team. Why don't you cheer the team on?" It's like, dude, we've been doing this for so long, man, and it's just so tiring as a fan to watch. Like the Jets and going into the stinker that was Buffalo, I felt like I honestly didn't even watch a football game, and I'm being absolutely honest with you. And I don't know about you guys, it felt like I barely saw the offense. First of all, I had like no clue what was really going on. It was like just a bunch of penalties, and then we would put the Bills in really good situations, and the Bills would just do what they do, and then all of a sudden it was 20-3. But I'm like, dude, Josh Allen didn't even really do anything, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, this is so weird. This is such a Jets game, and then Fields got hurt, and it just continued, and it was just like, dude, the game was so weird and so Jets classic, and they once again, and we spoke about this, JR. We talked about this before we got Mach Green going about the Jets' ability to stop the run. And everybody said after that Pittsburgh game, "Oh, look at the Jets' run defense." And I said, "Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. We'll see." It was very encouraging, but we'll see as they play better backs going on. And I even mentioned it, if I'm not mistaken, even in the show about James Cook. And I like Cook, and he can eat, man. And if you can't stop him and you can't isolate Josh Allen on the edges, you're toast, especially when you're not scoring points, especially when you're not running the ball. And right from Jump Street in this game, JR, right from Jump Street, Justin Fields didn't look right. Justin Fields didn't look right. He didn't look comfortable. One of the things I said that they should do with Justin Fields, which makes things really, really easy for him to diagnose since he has one of the slowest release times, I guess, in the NFL. Last week, he did very good with this. He looked very comfortable, very confident. It's kind of like as you're dropping back, is it there? No. Is it there? No. Take off. Like that's the mentality that you have to have in this offense. And if the offensive line affords you time, like it did in the first game, drop back, take that extra second, throw the football. Take off and run. Use your athleticism. Justin Fields was not brought here to be a pocket passer like Tom Brady. He was brought here because he was the second leading rusher from a quarterback in the NFL behind Lamar Jackson. And between that and his ability to throw a deep ball, the Jets figured they'd have some options. Well, use the damn man. Use him properly then. What is the point of having a guy like him and not using him more like Lamar Jackson? It just doesn't make sense to me. This isn't a prototypical drop back 25 times a game quarterback, throw the football down the field. At least not yet. He's more of a hybrid. And now Lamar Jackson is a very good passer of the football in streaks, and he puts up big numbers by the time the end of the season is over because he uses his legs to extend drives or on the field more, and he uses his legs to get to the edges and wait for tight ends to get to their outs, to look for receivers to go on a go, on a fake and a go. Like he's looking for a little bit more time as he's running down, as a guy realizes the play's broken up and he's coming back to it. Like all these things add up in the game. And I didn't like how they called the game. I didn't like how they set him up. I didn't like how he played. He looked jittery from the very start. Like he did not look comfortable at all. And he sucked, man. He like he straight up sucked, dog. Like he was bad. Like he was so bad that it almost erases everything that he did week one. And I'm not even lying. And only the Jets, only the New York Jets can pull something like that off. To have a quarterback that played a near perfect game in his debut coming to a new team, gassed all of our heads up like these players in this team always does, and then not even be like, you know what, the Bills beat us. Because we knew the Bills were going to beat us. because they're a team that's playing for something, and we're playing in a rebuilding scenario. And I could take that. I could say, hey, I knew we weren't going to win this game, but they didn't show up. They didn't show up in any phase of the game. That it just completely erases game one. And now it has you questioning if this team is ready, if this team is well coached. And everyone's like, Dan, you're being too reactionary. It's one game, just like you said they were good game one. I get it. I get it. But just as much credit as you're going to give them for game one, you got to knock them for game two. And you got to take a big question mark to see what's going on. And I think this is a really, really, really good test for the New York Jets to go to Tampa against a really good Tampa Bay team. But for me, like the expectations, like what is this team really? To me, this team really is like, to me, this team is potentially a top three picking team. I'm not going to say they're going to pick number one, but there could be a snowball effect here that could be really bad for this team. Justin Fields is already hurt. That's a problem. And Marte just hit a solo home run. The Mets game is tied 2-2 in the bottom of the fourth. Let's go, Mets. And I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, this team's got some issues. I don't know if we're going to win 4 games this year. Like, I got to reevaluate what I'm seeing on the football field. And then, the Steelers, they suck too. So it was like, how much was really just two crappy teams or two below average teams just scoring the ball against each other? And now when the level of competition is arose, we see they weren't able to step up in that same way. Is it just matchup problems? It's just, hey, it's just one of those games. We'll play better next game. I don't know. It's a big question mark because that was one of the worst games I've ever watched as a Jets fan. And I actually want to zoom in really quick. And is there any way that you could pull that back, JR, those comments a little bit, just so I could see a few of them and then see them like scroll down a little bit? Because I knew a couple of people were commenting. I don't know.
I can throw a couple up real quick. Let's see.
Yeah, let's throw some comments up. So Victor says if you cut Gibson, you gotta cut Clemens at this point. At least Gibson made a few big plays. Clemens just racks up bonehead penalties that contribute to L's. No, I agree with you. And that was my main problem with it and my disagreement with my co-host was that, yeah, I like it and I get it. But to me, that's more of like a college mentality, more of a high school mentality. Like, sit a guy, bench a guy, cut a guy, coach him up. These guys are individual businesses. So, yeah, that message worked when, like, Parcells was running around and doing things like that. You could pull stuff like that off. But these cats are different, man. And we see that in the NBA. The players have a lot of control. And so the owners are more player friendly. So I think that's why they have that control. But still, it doesn't mean he can't get there one day, especially when you're paying a guy $400-500 million. And all of a sudden it's like, well, yeah, man, their opinion matters. They're like taking up a huge percentage of my business's money, of my cap. So yeah, he's and it's not like 50,000. It's not like, hey guys, welcome to the NFL. The 1952. Like it's not like that. So these guys are making. Look at the Mets. We just spoke about them. Soto's making $700 million, dude. That is insane. That's insane. So these sports contracts, these players are getting a little bit more power because of the money that they make and the power that they wield. Technically also in some of these sports, not so much in football, but the money is also guaranteed. So then now you're sitting there and you're like, these players, if you want to like just crap on them all day, it's like, all right, whatever, I'm just going to collect my paycheck. And there's been instances of that. So Scott says this wasn't a fair game to judge Fields on. Literally, Bosa was chasing him on every play. He didn't have the time to throw the ball out. That's the NFL. Welcome to the NFL. They're going to play a bunch of teams with really good defensive ends. And by the way, I believe Tampa's defensive end got hurt. So he's not, one of their defensive ends is hurt, so he's not going to be playing. But yeah, I get you, Scott, for sure. But I don't think you can then just say with full confidence the first game was what Fields definitely is. I don't think you could say that now. I think now there's a question mark. I think now we'll probably see him back against the Dolphins another big, huge division game that matters against a team that's reeling and desperate and hungry. And it might be their opportunity to get to 2-2 by that point. And the Jets and Fields have to be ready. And so I'm going to be watching them, and Tyrod don't stay healthy. And it's going to just be one of those seasons where you just have all these different quarterbacks coming in and out. Brees can't get going. Quarterbacks can't going. Offense dragging. Defense not as good as it was because you're putting a first-year install in. They're already struggling. Stevens is one of the worst cornerbacks in the NFL. He's playing literally like an NFL second to third string cornerback, and he's getting paid New York Jets starter money. And I think they got a huge mistake and they got a huge big handle. And they're going to be tested. Listen, they're going to be tested, guys. We spoke about this. I said it. I said it on my feed. There's a good chance the Jets can go 1-7. I'm not lying to you. Go back and watch it. I think it was 2 episodes ago. I said, listen, I was looking at the roster the week before my prediction, and I was like, I don't know, man. This roster don't look right. And the only thing that changed my mind was the week 1 performance. So I figured against the Bills we were going to lose, but I didn't really think it was going to go down like that, man. In all phases, we looked unprepared. The penalties. Every single time the Jets got in a position to do something, there was a costly penalty. Because when you look at the total penalties for the game, I think the Bills out-penaltied the Jets. But it was just really costly penalties, especially an early one by Clemens, which set the tone for the game, got a quick score up there for Buffalo, and now your offense, who's just getting to know themselves, is already coming back against a division leader. And it just, the defense it just doesn't look right. It just doesn't look all the way right. And I don't know, this is our defense. So it's week 2, but it seems like the league is falling into place. Even in week 2, you just start looking at like the teams that are actually winning. And yeah, there's a few surprises and they might tail off. And there's a few surprise losses. And I'm sure those teams will pick it up, like Kansas City. But the Jets seem to really be falling in line. And I don't like this. And I don't like this schedule, to be honest with you. Do we have access to the schedule again or no? That'd be nice to. Do you have that?
I can try to bring it up. I know we got Miami, Bucs, Miami, and Dallas coming up.
So Bucs, Miami, Dallas. Dallas looks better than I thought they were, and I think Dallas is at home, right?
Yep, Dallas will be at home.
Yeah, Dallas is at home. Miami, Buccaneers. We could literally lose all those games. We could literally lose all those games and then start getting the steamroll going, boys.
And then after Dallas, we got the Broncos.
Yeah, that's a loss. Unless the Broncos take a step back this year.
And then the next 2 I can see us possibly winning. We got Carolina and the Bengals without Joe Burrow. So
I don't know though. They moved that offense without Joey, and so I'm telling you, man, this could be one of those seasons where the Jets could be really competing for something. And what do you do then? I don't know. I don't really watch too much college. I just focus on prospects and try to watch tape on them and look at them to get prepared for to talk about the draft or the show. But I don't know if there's any crop of quarterbacks that are coming out where the Jets say, you know what, we got one more year of Fields. Let's draft ourselves a quarterback, have him sit, get a veteran, do what the Giants are doing, which was smart, where I think the Jets, you have a guy like Jameis, you have a guy like Russell. So you got one more years of Fields, you got Tyrod Taylor, and then you got your rookie, your rookie quarterback. And I think that's how you roll. If it gets that bad. But, the expectations for the New York Jets have definitely changed. We have to put a big question mark on what this team is going to be until we see more.
Yeah.
So Scott said, no, he's not, but Membo played like a rookie. No quarterback can play well against that kind of pressure. Look how the Eagles make Patrick the Super Bowl. No quarterback can do it. Yes, I get it, Scott, that it becomes an impossibility sometimes with some of these guys. It's more of like a slow them down. But that could be said about quarterbacks too, right? Like there's quarterbacks that I've seen over the years where in Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and a lot of quarterbacks that you've watched, And it's just like, man, he just can't be stopped. He's just making the right decisions. Like, just because they're coming after you doesn't mean you fumble the ball, doesn't mean you make bad throws, doesn't mean you need to hold it. Use your legs. You're one of the fastest quarterbacks in the league. You had the second most rushing yards in the league from a quarterback last year. Lamar finds a way to escape. Use your athletic ability to escape. Go back and watch the tape from week 1 to week 2. The Jets did an okay job in spurts in the Buffalo game. Look at Justin Fields. Just isolate him and pull week 1 tape up. There was no smooth transition anywhere from him. He looked out of place from the moment, from the jump. As soon as he got under center, he did not look the same.
I think his first drive was a fumble, right?
It wasn't good. And when you look at a lot of the metrics, it kind of was like more of the standards that people were like kind of worried about as far as holding the ball.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, even in the first game, I thought there was much more opportunities for him to use his legs. And now we got Tyrod, who's a solid player. And, you're looking at this Buffalo game and at this Tampa game, and you're going to yourself and you're saying, can the Jets steal one here? Is it possible? I mean, Tampa hasn't been playing, the best. I think Tampa has struggled a bit themselves, but they're really tough. Like Tampa is really tough, and we saw it when they played the Chargers. Baker Mayfield has found himself, much like Darnold. He's settled in on who he is as a quarterback. He knows what he does best. His little trip around the NFL did that for him, much like it did for Darnold. And it seems like these guys have woken up to be above average quarterbacks. And Stevens isn't playing well. And I think the Jets can get pressure on them, but they also run the ball really well. They're top 10 in rushing right now in the NFL. And they're not exactly passing the ball to the ability that I think they're able to. But they got this young wide receiver in Tampa, Egbuka, and he's got 3 touchdowns already. I have him in fantasy. Everybody was talking this guy up. I took him on my fantasy team. He's got 3 touchdowns already in the first 2 weeks. He's playing well. So Steven's going to be tested because Sauce is going to have to be on Mike Evans. Because if he's not on Mike Evans, him and Mike Evans, Baker and Mike Evans have a connection together. He'll toast us all day. Yeah, the guy is old. He'll toast you for about 120, 150 for sure. No doubt if you put Stevens on him. So Sauce is going to have to be on Evans or at least on a rotation because honestly, this kid is dynamic and I don't think Stevens can handle him. And like I said, Bucky Irving is a good running back. He's not the in-between the tackles back that I believe James Cook is, but he can get on those edges. And, we don't necessarily have the beefiest guys on the edges either. If those tackles set the edges and Bucky can get on the edge, he's going to take us for 70, 80 in that game. And then, a couple by Baker and a couple by the backup. And then, Baker will throw for 2, 3 TDs or so. I've watched them all last year. And since he's been there with the Buccaneers, they can throw the football. They're just getting warmed up. Trust me. And let him get warmed up against the Jets, right? Because we've seen it before. And, I don't know, man. It just gets really old. Like, I feel like I'm kind of disconnected from the game sometimes because I just don't really know what I'm watching. Like, it's really just, like, dumbfounding me. Like, reality doesn't even feel real. You're sitting there, you're like, dude, this is a real football team? Like, I watch football all the time. Like, I watch the Chargers. I watch the Bucs later that day. I watch a bunch of other games. And, yeah, teams look bad. But the Jets are just so goofy, man.
Yeah.
They're so weird. They're so goofy to me. They don't do anything right. It's weird. It's like, and then when they do something right, it's always followed up by something so horrendous that it erases what they did good in the first place. They can't even give you bad in spurts. It's like, no, we're just going to completely dump on you so you forget what all the good stuff was. More people talk about the butt fumble than they do about, the Jets run on the AFC Championship game. It's just like we're just a bunch of jokes to the NFL, and I'm hoping that Aaron Glenn changes it, but I feel like his message, if the Jets don't start winning, I feel like his message can dry out very quickly more so than maybe what Salah's message was even.
Yeah.
And
All
I hate
gas,
to
no
say,
brakes.
yeah, I hate to say that, but it's just like that whole like rah rah type of thing, followed up by like a sternness and not player friendly, so to speak. I don't know if that's going to work in the long term. This is his first time as a head coach now, guys. We got to remember that. When you're a defensive coordinator, I feel like you could be a little bit more stern on your guys because you're an individual. You're coaching one section, which would be the defense, because that's your expertise. So that's how you can be a little harder because you can reinforce also through your individual coaches. Now, when you're the head guy, you're cutting guys after they do something bad. Well, where was Clemens cutting? And what happens if Quentin Williams makes back-to-back bad plays that cost you games? It's just like your message is like, okay, so if you're a crappy player or you're a mid-tier player or you're a backup and you cost us a game, yeah, you're gonna get cut the next day. But everybody else, yeah, go ahead and make mistakes. I guess you'll be all right. Like I don't know, like it just didn't come off good to me. I didn't like how he went about it. I think it was a little too early for that. The Jets wide receiving core is already not that good, and people could justify it all they want and say, well, Gibson really wasn't this and he wasn't that and this and that and that and that and this anyway. But at the end of the day, he was good enough to get that position in on the team before the fumble. So he was better than the guys that you had lined up for whatever positions he was playing. I could tell you that much. And you can't tell me wrong. You can't tell me I'm wrong on that. I'm right, 100%. So if those other guys were better, they would have had Gibson's position. He wasn't a fourth string wide receiver that got cut. Dude, he was like basically your second. He's basically your second wide receiver in reality because Lizard doesn't count because he wasn't playing. So in reality, your second, third wide receiver got cut, and a punt returner got cut too. So we'll see how it goes, man. I mean, this is the ride. This is the ride that we sign up for every year. And I'm not gonna go root for some other team and be like, oh, I got an NFC team. It's like, dude, screw that, man. Like I don't got no NFC team. Like I watch football, for betting purposes and different
Yep.
things like that and fantasy purposes and stuff like that. But I don't root for any other team. I'd rather not watch football than not root for the Jets. So I'm a Jet fan through and through. But it's like a family member that just they keep stealing from you. You know what I mean? And like yeah, I know some of you guys that are listening right now have family members that are like that and they just steal from you all the time. It's like you can't even leave out anything around your own like brother or sister because they'll steal it from you. Like that's how the Jets are. Like every year you get really excited for NFL football and they just steal your happiness. Like how does a New York team in a market like that, how do they get to that point where they lead all of American sports and not making the playoffs? And I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be another year on this one too.
Probably
We're
a
going to
few
go for
more.
the old 15-year anniversary, right? Is it 15 or 14? 15,
And
right?
in so many years by now, I kind of lost count. But yeah, so
I think it's 15, man. Like I said before, I have a kid that's 11 years old, wasn't around,
yeah,
was not even around, was not even in the picture for like, dude, this team is so bad, bro.
yeah. My
This
son was two
team is
years
so
old.
bad.
2 years
And
old
he's
now.
playing high school football. He's about to graduate
Graduate
soon.
this year.
It's insane, dude. When you really picture that in your head.
Yeah,
I'm 40 right now. There's somebody who's about to be almost 60 years old.
I feel
And
bad
the
for my
last time,
son. He got all of his friends, got good teams, Ravens and all this, and he's like, yeah, he still rocks his jersey. He's proud, but I don't know how. But yeah,
at least when I was growing up, the Jets were good like every couple of years.
right.
Like they were really bad when I was young. They were like the worst team in the league besides the Lions, pretty much. But then once Bill Parcells got there, it changed. And it just seems, oh, did they just crush the Mets? Oh, Manny Machado just hit a grand slam
Uh,
on David Peterson in the top of the fifth,
oh,
and the Padres go up 6-2 on the Metsies. Man, that's a crusher, especially because the Mets haven't been able to get anything going. Padres are in those playoff spots. Teams are chasing them. It would be a New York disaster if the Mets didn't make the playoffs. But you know what?
I know.
Oh, we're here for it as a fan. We know what to expect. It can happen. It could happen. I've seen the Mets collapse before, and it's just unbelievable what these teams do to us. And these millionaires get to go home and eat the best food and go travel the world, do all this stuff and laugh it away. And then they get mad at us because we're fans. They just get mad. They're like, oh, well, these couch potato trolls. Like I don't work every single day and I don't help people and take care of kids and have
Right.
hobbies and do things like a person too. But it's like, but we spend all this money and time, to come watch these guys play, and we take it more seriously than they do. That should be telling you guys something about how we're thinking about society, right? It's
Yeah.
like, man, it's like these guys, they get mad at us for caring about the game that you should be caring about. Now if somebody's insulting you, yeah, like
Right.
absolutely, like jerks, right? But a lot of people are just passionate because they've got a lot of memories. They've got a lot of good times that are connected to these football teams. And I think that they don't realize that because they didn't root for the Jets or they're not from New York or they didn't da 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 da, da and all that kind of stuff that's involved with being a fan of a particular team, which is usually living in the area of the team, mostly at least in the same state or neighboring state. And with the Jets, they're not super transient. Usually they're Jet fans because somebody from New York, they're from New York, or they have a family member who raised them that were from New York. And not nobody volunteers to be a Jets fan. You're usually a Jet fan because it's passed down through family,
Yeah.
and that is the power in being a Jet fan is that we have real fans. Like we don't have fake fans. Nobody wants to be a Jet fan. I promise you. Every time I tell somebody I'm a Jet fan, they're like, "Ew, Jet fan. Ooh, Jet fan. Why?
Like you got a
Why?" They
disease or
ask me,
something. Yeah.
dude. You can't believe how many people have told me why. Why are you a Jet fan? What do you mean why? Do you think I just picked the New York Jets? I'm raised a Jet fan like everybody else's team.
That's
But
the same with
everything
me.
is but people are changing. These younger people are changing where it's not so much about the loyalty to a team, it's about following a star or
Yeah.
whatever trend is going on TikTok or what's out there. Like uh kids, they're doing things a little differently when it comes to these types of things. And it's not the same. It's not the same. None of this is the same. None of this is the same, and the Jets aren't the same. So we gotta let go of this childhood love that we have for this team and start looking at them more as a business. And the business is a business of getting wins, and they are not good at doing that. And so I need them to do that so it doesn't feel like we're sitting here wasting our time. So it doesn't feel like everyone's like, oh yeah, but my friends come over. I don't anymore. I don't have any more friends. I sit in a closet like this and I just sit here and I watch the game, right? The friends are gone, the barbecues are gone, the get-togethers are gone. Everyone is gone now. I'm out here grinding it, and the Jets are just another thing in my basket that I don't want. All right, but I can't give up, right?
Yeah.
Because if they get good, then I couldn't even celebrate the same as the rest of you guys. So I got to hang in there like everybody else. We got to suffer together and watch this team. Is there any way that the New York Jets could beat Tampa Bay?
No.
Tampa's offense hasn't gotten necessarily rolling yet, even though the rookie Ibuka is playing well. But if they could somehow get to Baker, Baker does throw a lot of interceptions. So if you can, he has at times thrown a lot of interceptions. It hasn't been recent as much, but he does have a kind of gunslinger style of play. So if you can somehow get to him and have him make a mistake, you can. But after watching the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
even the pressure that we did put on quarterbacks, it didn't really make a difference, right? I mean, Aaron Rodgers still had a great game. Like, yeah, Josh Allen didn't play a great game, but James Cook and the entire team ran for over 220 something yards. That's insanity. Like Rex Ryan would go out of his mind. I didn't even watch the clips. I'm gonna have to put a couple on YouTube. I'm pretty sure Rex Ryan commented on it, but that's such a gross stat. It's a gross stat that I hated my entire life. I'd rather a team give up 500 yards throwing the ball down the field all day long than them run the ball for 250, 230, 240 yards a game. That is, it just drains the life out of a viewer to watch a team, first down, you shut them down, second down, they run the ball. It's 2nd and 6. All of a sudden, it's 3rd and 1. All of a sudden, it's 1st down. All of a sudden, 10-yard run. All of a sudden, 15-yard run. All of a sudden, 15-yard pass. All of a sudden, you're like, dude, it just keeps going and going. They extend drives because they're always in the 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 scenario, and it's like you can't defend. And now with these mobile quarterbacks, it just gives them so much opportunity, and that's what the Jets should be doing. They should be running the ball well. Field should be using his legs as an option in those scenarios. Like it's just, I don't know. I'm not sure about this team. Stevens is not playing well, and I don't know if he can handle it. I'm not sure if this team is going to win at all for a while. I think they're definitely going to lose this game for sure. The final score is going to be 27-17. Buccaneers. That last touchdown from the Jets is going to come late in the 4th quarter where the game's pretty much like out of hand. So it's going to be like, oh, they only lost by 10. Like maybe like someone made a turnover and they're really just down by 3. It's like, no, it's going to be like they're going to be down most of the game, but they're not going to make a lot of mistakes. So that's going to give them the opportunity to make the score a little bit better when Tyrod Taylor throws his first touchdown of the game at the end of the game. That's how I think it's going to be. I think Breece Hall gets the first touchdown of the game. It's going to be a rushing touchdown. I think they're going to have a field goal after that. And then I think pretty much from there on out, it's going to be a struggle for them to really move the ball. Bucs are going to control the ball. It could be even higher. It could be like it could be like 30 something.
We gave up 30 the last 2 games. I feel like we're going to give up 30 again.
Maybe 37, maybe 37-21, something like that. 37-17, 37-17 to 37-21. I'm thinking maybe 23 if they're lucky, 37-23. Man, I like that. Let's go with that. 37-23 Tampa Bay wins the game with a backup of 27-17. Because this team is not proven to me quite yet of giving them a chance. They have to prove it. But we're going to keep it a short one for you. Not going to waste your time. There's not much to talk about this team. The defensive line, I think, is good enough, but they can't stop the run. And our linebackers are small, so once they get to the second level, that's tough. Our second cornerback on the team is not very good. Our quarterback, we don't know yet. We're missing one of our offensive linemen, and the wide receiving core is very, very, very mid.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough, guys. It's going to be a tough season, but we're going to stick it out together. We'll talk about it. We'll break down more metrics. We'll talk about the games or answer questions. Victor says, I don't know what they saw there. Sad thing is our line is protecting really well. See, but that's the thing, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, you should be utilizing your legs in these scenarios if your line is like, if you don't like what you're seeing, get to the edge and take off. Get to the edge and take off. That's what you're here for. At least get to the edge and then look, maybe someone's cutting down the field. Like, don't just sit there and just like look like you don't know what you're doing. Like that was one of the worst games from a Jets quarterback that I've ever seen. Like, and there's some bad games out there, but that was pretty bad. And I think it would have continued if he didn't get hurt, and it really would have buried him even more. He was not playing well. I don't like the calls. I don't think the Jets were winning the line, a scrimmage up front to be able to run the football. So it was not a good day. They couldn't get anything going. The defense sucked. And it's 2 weeks in a row against a mid opponent and against a strong opponent. Now we're playing another above average team, I would say, in the long run. And after that, we play a division rival that's suffering, but maybe they're, again, playing for 2-2, and maybe they'll be incentivized then. And then we go and we play Dallas, looks better than we thought, and then the Broncos, and and I'm telling you, it can get bad. It can get bad. But we're going to stick together. We're going to stick together as a squad, and we're going to bring it home. And how we do that is by going on our Facebook page, Mach Green on Facebook, and sharing that all throughout Facebook. So we can get more people to come to the page. So we could talk about the Jets, so we can hold funeral, so we could cry together, so we could pray for better days. And that's what I'm here for. But right now, this is not the better days. This is the thunder and the lightning. And you thought, well, how could this be possible? How could there be thunder and lightning after 14 years of no playoffs? When is the sun going to come? The sun may never come. But if it's going to come next year, not this year. This is going to be suffrage. I could see it now. This is going to be a tough year. We need a miracle by God. That's the only way that the Jets are going to be able to do anything, I believe, with this current schedule. And again, what happens after week 8 or 9 on that schedule?
Let's see
Who's
here.
on there?
So all right. So after that, so we got Bucks, Dolphins, Jets. Then we got the Broncos at home, Panthers at home. Then we head to Cincinnati. Then we got the Browns at home, Patriots on the road, Ravens on the road, Falcons
All
at
right, so
home,
right there, hold on, right there, like that little stretch of games, the Browns, Jaguar, like that whole stretch
Panthers,
of
Bengals,
Panthers,
Browns.
Bengals, Browns, like that is your opportunity to make the playoffs. But you can't get to that. Like you as a team, you beg for that little soft stretch, but you got to get through that tough top of the lineup. And the
Yeah,
Jets, it looks like it's that path. I think Mets just hit a home run. Yup, Soto just hit another home run. This guy is unbelievable. He really is.
if we can get the Bucks and Dolphins back to back, that would
See,
save
that's the
us.
thing. If you could surprise anyone and beat a team here, and then beat the Dolphins and get to 2-2, even if you lose those games leading up to that stretch, you can
Yeah,
get right and get yourself to be an above average team where you're like 5-5, like going in, late into the season where it's fun to watch the games. But if you lose those games leading up to it and you win a one game or none, then those are just games to make sure that you don't just get laughed at on Saturday Night Live and stuff like that. Like they don't just make fun of you as one of the worst teams that's ever walked through here type of stuff because it gets worse towards the back end of the schedule after that Ravens game and all that kind of stuff. And if Penix is a good quarterback, that's plenty enough time for him to get
Falcons.
settled. And they're dynamic too with some of the players that they have on their squad. I just don't feel like they've used Pitts right, and they haven't had quarterbacks to use Pitts right. They got Bijan Robinson out there, they got Drake London, like they got some players out there, man. And these are not easy games. Like even the Browns are not easy,
Uh,
depending on what they wind up doing with Flacco. If Dylan Gabriel comes in, they got some players on the roster they can give, like Tillman, they can give the Jets a tough time. People are like, yeah, Tillman. Huh. It's like, dude, you just got beat by two teams that didn't really have any standout wide receivers like DK Metcalf. I think like he's more on the back end of like his explosive type of plays. I think we're looking at fantasy a little bit too long over the last few years, but I don't think he's like Justin Jefferson conversations anymore. He's not in those top wide receiver conversations. He'll probably get 800 yards, 1,000 yards this year, but he's not in the 12 to 13 to 1400 plus. He's not in that type of range. I don't think he can change a game. The Jets. This is going to be suffrage. This is going to be real bad. But again, we'll do this together. Thank everybody for tuning in. We appreciate you. It's going to get better and better. We'll do some more fun things on here. Again, we want to find a way to get to your comments. We want you guys to read our articles. Again, share the page, share the articles. It's not going to be good though. I'm not going to be easy on this team. So like, if you had an expectation of like what this page is going to be like as far as the content, I'm not going to be like talking unnecessarily bad on the Jets when they're not doing bad, but I think they've been doing bad long enough, guys, that like we should at least be in reality of what this team actually is and call them out on it. Because like, why are we going to keep feeding this team money and keep giving them our attention and time if they're not willing to change the dynamics? It's a first year install, so I get it, and that's why I'm cool about it. But they have to answer some questions this season before the season's over. Who's your quarterback? Because I'm tired of new coaches coming in here and somehow they still don't know who their damn quarterback is. No one can find a damn good quarterback. It doesn't matter who it is. They can't find a quarterback. Like, I don't get it. You got all the money in the world. You got all the draft picks in the world because you're always picking at the top of the draft. And you can never find a quarterback. You can never find a coach-to-coach quarterback. I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, you can't hire someone to like, dude, just find us a quarterback.
our
Like
last, yeah,
sit someone in a room, just someone outside, I don't know, somebody, anybody, and just be like, evaluate all the quarterbacks and like, which one is it, man? Tell us who's got it, because something's going on. None of their guys ever have it, man. They never have it, and I don't understand this team, why they can never get it. Why can't the Browns ever get it right? Why can't the Jets ever get it right? And then they expect fans to just be out of their mind for this team. It's like, dude, it's like being in a bad marriage or something, man. It's crazy. It's unbelievable, this team sometimes. Like, I was numb last week. I was like, literally, like, what am I watching? Like, this is not even football. There's a bunch of penalties that are chopping up the game. You can't stop the run. They're running all over the place. All over the place. 220 something yards. I thought I was watching the Browns. I thought it was Jim Brown running around. Like those days where you just look at the stats, you're like, oh dang, like they ran on them for that many. Like Notre Dame ran on that team for 400 yards. Like that's crazy, dog. Like they ran on Michigan for 450 yards. Like it was like one of those things because Josh Allen wasn't really that dynamic, But when he did make any plays, I know Steven didn't do nothing exciting. So again, let me get out of here because I'm just going to keep whining about this team. So we got to move on with our lives. We got their knockout Thursday. We got to be positive. Work Thursday, and then Friday we're going to knock it out. We're going to be ready to go for the weekend. So thank you guys so much. My throat is dry. I've been talking the whole episode, no backup except for JR, and my throat is about to close up, and I'm not getting sick for this Jets team. So have a great night, guys. Please share the page. Enjoy the company. Thank you, JR, for everything. What is your prediction for this game, JR? What is the score for you?
I'll just go 34-17.
Yeah, I mean,
Bucs.
it just feels.
I got no faith right now, so they got to prove me wrong.
Yeah, it just feels like that. I mean, like, how much is Tyrod really going to change the game?
Yeah.
I guess one of the things that it'll change for Tyrod is for the game is that he'll be able to keep probably the turnovers down, which will be good.
Yeah.
And he'll make the intermediate throws, the smaller throws, they'll be more complete. He'll be able to get the ball out of his hand, and that might allow some of our guys maybe yards after catch where it can make it a little bit interesting. But ultimately, if they can't run the football, this game's out of hand. It's one of those. Maybe it's one of those games, those trap games to the Bucs. But the Jets usually are never really like that type of a team either.
Yeah.
So like they're not a trap team. Like it's like they're either good or bad. So, but all right, man. I appreciate everything, man. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll get into this. But yeah, this is gonna be roughing it out, man. We need to start maybe talking about something else during the podcast, and maybe we'll turn the show into something completely different because I don't know how much we're gonna really be talking about this team. It's just so hard to like evaluate when you play that bad and you have that many costly penalties. Like you don't know what this team could have been in that game plan because every time you were in a chance to do something to evaluate, there was a penalty or there was a mistake or yeah, we'll see. Again, 2 games in, maybe this one they show up a little bit more. Jets Guru out.
You are now watching Mach Green Podcast.
Okay, let's go.